in Commerce, Texas, and there's active shooter or situation, people with guns. Uh, American Justice of Texas, Desert Goat down there on his knees. Or I should say, AJOT's corner. Yeah, so we got a phone call tip from Desert Goat that this was going on. So we rushed out to get here. I don't know if this guy was involved, this guy with the hat on, or if he's a Texas Ranger or something. They got all the news crews out here.
No injuries, no deaths at this time.
Yeah.
3 suspects had a shootout in the electronics section.
Oh, there was a shootout is what I'm hearing from Desert Goat.
To give you guys a better idea,
We got Bexar County Sheriffs here.
we have every.
We got Commerce Police.
Bexar County Sheriff.
There's even a military guy. I don't know what really hits home for me because my kid works at Walmart in Austin, Texas. So I always hate to hear about someone going in a Walmart shooting. This is Commerce, Texas. All the way around the Walmart.
Okay, good afternoon. I'm Sheriff Javier Salazar. Giving an update on what was a pretty active scene earlier today. So initially, the way this started out, some of our deputies were dispatched to a home on the 7400 block of Estrid Trail for what we would call an attempt to locate. My understanding is that there was a series of shootings overnight that did not involve injuries, thankfully, but still obviously a huge cause for concern. And one of the suspects may have been at this home in the 7400 block of Estrid Trail. Juvenile male, so I'm not able to give the name at this point. When deputies came pulling up to that home in the 7400 block of Estrid Trail, they reported hearing 2 series of gunshots. At that point, deputies started calling in that they were possibly being shot at, as they heard 2 separate volleys of gunfire coming from either in the house or the backyard of the house. But a secondary deputy arrived. They ran to the backyard of the house where they saw several what appeared to be juveniles in the backyard that scattered into the alley and then running toward the Walmart. Obviously, that puts us in a situation where we're really concerned for the safety of the folks at Walmart, and so we started sending deputies and officers from Converse Police Department here to intercept the group. They were able to successfully detain 2 juveniles on the side of the house, along with a couple people inside the house. They were able to secure a couple of weapons. Additionally, they did catch at least 1 juvenile that made it into the Walmart. However, thankfully, he was not armed, but they were able to secure him. So what we know at this point is that we've got a total of 5 juvenile suspects and 3 adult suspects who are all detained. The danger in the area has absolutely passed, so we don't want anybody to be concerned about that. And we have secured several weapons. Our organized crime group and our CID unit are out here working together, along with officers from the Converse Police Department, to make sure that we've got all ends of this covered. So there may be a pretty high degree, significant police presence in this area from sheriff's officers and sheriff's deputies and Converse police officers. However, everything has returned to normal here at the Walmart. For a while, we did have all of the Walmart employees out here. Obviously, in a situation like this, heat stroke is a concern, so we were keeping them hydrated, making sure everybody's okay. EMS came out to check one young lady that was actually secured in my personal vehicle because there was a concern for heat-related stress on her. Thankfully now, though, everybody's secured. We've got everybody back into the Walmart, and we've got those 8 arrests. At present, I don't know what charges are going to apply to those 8. With juveniles, it's a different process than we have to do with a regular adult suspect, and so we're going through all of that, handling that situation by the numbers. But I just want to reassure everybody that between our organized crime group, our CID group, our patrol deputies, and of course the Converse Police Department, and Walmart management, everybody just reacted flawlessly to the situation, and I'm just really proud of what I saw when I got out on scene. Several of my chiefs and I responded from off duty. That's why we're dressed a little different. I'm actually in my personal truck, but our troops had it well in hand before we even got here. So I'm just as proud as can be. Although there's going to be a high presence of law enforcement activity in the area, danger has passed. We are urging anybody that's got information on this or any other nearby violent incident that they can call us at 210-335-6000. That's our non-emergency number. Or they can call the BCSO Organized Crime Group at 210-335-GANG, G-A-N-G. Any questions?
Were there any shots fired inside the Walmart?
Initially, there was a report that there may have been shots fired in the Walmart. Right now, we don't have any information that occurred. One of the employees that was out here with us when I was debriefing mentioned that they believe the shots were fired outside of Walmart. So at present, we don't have any evidence that there were shots fired in the Walmart. Thankfully, there were no injuries. I mean, it was a pretty chaotic scene. As I was heading this way, I was monitoring the radio and the phones, and it sounded pretty chaotic. And I'm just surprised that we have no injuries. But again, I credit the first responders that got out here really quick, along with Walmart management. It's clear that they've got plans for a situation like this. We treated it as an active shooter. We were calling it a possible active shooter. Just in an abundance of caution, but no, thankfully no injuries are reported at this time.
Only one person was inside the Walmart.
One of the suspects was inside the Walmart. He was not armed, but there's an additional 7 between juveniles and adults that were all detained. Thankfully, I think we've got everybody at this point, and we'll be releasing names as soon as we're able. Now, granted, with the juveniles, we won't be able to release their names, but we will be releasing the names of those that we can as soon as possible.
All men.
I believe it's all men.
Do you have any prior criminal history?
I don't have a whole lot of details on prior criminal history, but I mean, I do know that the reason we were there in the first place was because of some violent incidents that happened overnight. That again, thankfully, nobody was hurt there. So it's just God's grace that we were all, everybody made it through this without any major injuries, or without any injuries reported. Obviously, the civilians especially, but our first responders and of course the suspects themselves are very fortunate that deputies arriving thought we were being shot at, and we may have been being shot at, but thankfully for those suspects, our deputies were not able to engage at that point, so nobody suffered any injuries. My understanding is that now we have 2 handguns. Now I know that we were just talking that there was a talk of a rifle on one of the radio transmissions, but at this point I don't know where that rifle came into play. So we're just making sure that we have all weapons accounted for. At present, I think we do. But I want to make sure if somebody said rifle on the radio, why was that, and do we have a rifle tape?
Describe a little bit more about the incident from last night, the shooting last night. Was there only one shooting?
No, my understanding, my chief that was my CID chief that was briefing me up described it as a couple of different shooting incidents with no hits. Interestingly enough, we were just talking yesterday when we made the arrest of that young lady that we arrested for shooting wildly and posting it on social media. The chief mentioned to me anecdotally, and while I don't have stats in front of me, understand that, she was mentioning that just anecdotally we are seeing more calls for shootings occurring. I mean, in other words, people shooting wildly in the air, people brandishing weapons. It's getting more violent out there. And, it's no secret. I'm not telling anybody anything they don't know. But that's exactly why at present we're, going through budget. We're asking to maintain our gang unit, our organized crime group, that work extremely hard. They're always working. But we're also asking to increase patrols. We want to make sure that we are able to remain proactive and visible and make sure we've got enough deputies spread out throughout the county. In this situation, everything worked out great. We worked great with Converse Police Department. When the question came up of who's going to run the scene, I called Chief Lane and said, hey, if you don't mind, we're going to run with the scenario. And he says, go for it. Y'all have more involvement in this anyway. And so thankfully I got a great relationship with all of our other law enforcement leaders in the county, and I'm able to, at a phone call, say, hey, look, we've got this
Texas, whoever was asking.
Is it okay with you that we're taking it? And absolutely it was. So this situation worked out great. Worked out exactly the way it should have by all accounts. From what I can see out here, you're looking at
So,
probably 60, 70 people.
I gave you guys enough of that cop-splaining, I guess. But like I said, we're at a Walmart in Converse, Texas.
Once they cleared it, they did a secondary search just to
out here again. Walmart, Commerce, Texas. They had some shooting situation, people with guns, whatever. Ajax Corner and Desert Goat walking over there to the Walmart gas station. Toodles, y'all.